Hello, BookTube. Well, it's very, very, very late at night again here at Hyde Cottage, and I admit um, I had a few more videos planned to make yesterday when the sun was up, but the yet another Islamic terrorist attack on American soil, this time in Manhattan, uh, sort of put me off doing much of that. It sort of concentrated me on first the news and then doing anything not to concentrate on the news, uh, so that I could get work done. And then the next thing I knew, it was now. it was late at night, so I thought we'd go through some mail, and maybe as the night goes on, I'll make more videos. There was some mail that was just sitting there. I was too uh, angry and depressed by the news to even look at it. So we'll go through it now, starting with the periodical, which is right on top. It's my beloved TLS, the Times Literary Supplement. Uh, I think, if I remember correctly, this is the special issue that they devote to learned journals. Uh, yeah, yeah. So it'll be a chunk of stuff that probably won't be of huge interest to me, because a lot of the learned journals that they'll concentrate on, I won't read. Um, Oh, look at that! Right inside the gate, there's a huge article on David Foster Wallace, uh, for reviewing three books, not one of which is the David Foster Wallace Reader, which I did a fairly contentious review of. I'll have to remember to leave the link down below. Uh, it pretty much sums up my stance vis-a-vis David Foster Wallace, so it'll save some time. Uh, but one thing that's, I mean, I'll go through this and find out what's reviewed and what I might want to get and what I might want to review myself. But I always like to go to the letters page and see what's kicking up dust. What in the center of the letters page is always the thing they got a lot of mail about. And I like to see if I can predict what. Oh, well, no, okay, I can't predict what it was. A couple of issues ago, reviewer reviewed Mark Elliott's great new biography of the actor Charlton Heston, and it was a fantastic review. Who was the reviewer? Graham Dessler. Name I don't know, but the review was stellar. The kind of work that every reviewer sits in envy of, because it was the review was great reading on its own, apart from the book, and it generated a whole bunch of letters, including this first one from no less than David Slavitt. Someday I'll go into David Slavitt in a video, but let's see. In Graham Dessler's excellent review of Mark Elliott's Charlton Heston, there is no mention by the author or reviewer of the actor's occasional flashes of dry wit. I was one of the movie critics on a Fox junket to Europe, and in the Sistine Chapel for The Agony and the Ecstasy, I was one of the cluster of writers who had gathered around him. A mischievous kid in my 20s, I asked him how he could play Michelangelo persuasively, the artist's height having been a scant 5 feet. Heston was an imposing 6'3". Heston glanced at me for only a second or so, in a measured voice replied, "In my book, Michelangelo was one of the tallest men who ever lived. Not a hint of a smile on his face, nor, I hardly need report, on mine." Okay, all right, okay, all right, that's great. But that anecdote, you'll notice, does absolutely nothing to dispel the widespread belief that Heston had no humor. So, I'm glad that Slavitt saw humor in that exchange. I don't. Maybe you do. But then we have the mail, and it's mostly cardboard. There's a manila envelope on top, but it's mostly cardboard. Is that what it reduced to? I'm wearing a cardboard belt. We'll start with the manila envelope and see what it is. It's very slim. Could be poetry. Let's see. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, it is. Okay, this is the finished copy of Poetry Indeed, Concerto al Quds, by Adonis, which we saw the advanced copy of. This is a famous literary figure about whom I know nothing. A Syrian poet, critic, essayist, and devoted secularist who has come out of retirement to pen an extended, innovative poem on Jerusalem. Okay, so this is the finished copy of a slim book that comes out on the 28th. And then, once we're done with that, we've got a ton of cardboard. So it's going to be rather noisy here late at night. Because you've got these things that you have to discombobulate in order to open. Very very annoying, although it can be satisfying too. Fortunately, the dogs sleep rather soundly, so that's good. We'll just make a pile of cardboard, I guess, here. So what have we got here? Oh, great! This is the finished copy of Island of the Blue Foxes by Stephen Bound. Disaster and Triumph on the World's Greatest Scientific Expedition. The immense 18th century scientific journey, variously known as the Second Kamchatka Expedition or the Great Northern Expedition, from St. Petersburg across Siberia to the coast of North America, involved over 3,000 people and cost Peter the Great over 1/6 of his empire's entire annual revenue. Led by the legendary Danish captain Vitus Bering, the 10-year voyage, which included scientists, artists, mariners, soldiers, and laborers, discovered Alaska, opened the Pacific fur trade, and thanks to the brilliant naturalist George Steller, discovered dozens of new world plants and animals, including Steller's sea cow, an animal that I really wish I had seen. I mean, I know that that if you're an animal fan or a dinosaur fan, that can apply to lots and lots. But I would like to have seen a Steller sea cow. But anyway, the story of this expedition is a tale not only of adventure and historic achievement, but also of shipwreck, endurance, and one of the most tragic and ghastly trials of suffering in the annals of maritime and Arctic history. Sounds really good. I got the advanced copy of this, and I confess I haven't got to it. But that sounds wonderful. It makes me wonder how many different books have been written on this subject. Okay, so that's early November. That's great. That's right on my docket. I'll replace the advanced copy with it. And we've got this next one to just tear apart. Let's see what we got here. Okay, this is Eduardo Galeano, translated by Mark Freed. This is Hunter of Stories in a finished copy. This comes out in mid-November. And the author is unique among his contemporaries, who include Gabriel Garcia Marquez and Mario Vargas Llosa, for his commitment to retelling our many histories, including the stories of those who were disenfranchised. And this is a collection of material, a new collection of material. So, all right. Well, we've got a wide variety so far. We've got poetry, we've got history, we've got an anthology in translation. The things you people put up with, I tell you. It's a random chance. It isn't. Usually we only have one or two of these annoying things, not a whole pile of them. These must all be from the same overarching company, Hachette or something like that. I think uses them. So we've got next is Carlo Giles Unger. This is the finished copy of something we've seen before. First Founding Father. Subtitled Richard Henry Lee and the Call to Independence. And explores the life of the man who was the first to call for independence, the first to call for union, and the first to call for a Bill of Rights. All three of those are wrong. Now, I don't know that the author says that. All three of those are wrong. It was not a Virginian who called for any of those things. All three of those things were called for first by someone from Massachusetts, and it was the same person from Massachusetts. It wasn't like it was a bunch of people. It was one man from Massachusetts who called for all three of those things long before they entered the head of Richard Henry Lee. But even so, it's got a nice matte finish of a cover, and I don't recall ever having read a biography of Richard Henry Lee. I know him best for his role in 1776. He has a rather prominent song in 1776 called "The Lees of Old Virginia." I tell you, John, with pride, God leans a little on the side of the Lees of Old Virginia. And Okay, so this comes out in November as well. Great. All right. Well, a Revolutionary Era biography is always good by me, no matter what the overreaching pub sheet says. And we got another one of these things. Let's just go through this again. Tear it apart. Pile of discombobulated. Okay, so what do we got here? Ooh, all right. Well, this is. Oh yeah, these are all from the same company. They're all from Hachette. Somebody just we hit, Open Letters Monthly just hit the jackpot on some rotating list of releases. So this comes out in November as well, and this is Queen Victoria's Matchmaking: The Royal Marriages That Shaped Europe by Deborah Cadbury. And I don't believe, I think I got the advanced copy of this, and I think I mailed it out right away to somebody, either one of you or a freelancer. So I haven't had it, haven't explored it at all. And I kind of want to. It's a little bit of a silly subject, but good stuff can be made out of it in the right hands. And do I know Deborah Cadbury? The author of 8 acclaimed books, including Chocolate Wars, which she had a vested interest in, The Dinosaur Hunters, The Lost King of France, 7 Wonders of the Industrial World, and Princess at War. Oh, okay. Princess at War was the one I knew. Naturally, the last one. Okay. So British royal history. So colonial American history and British royal history. That's not a bad combination. Heavy on the history, and then we have a box to finish things off. It's fairly heavy, so we'll see. At least it's not a cardboard envelope. Let's see what's in here. Might be something really big. Oh, it is something really big. Oh my. Okay. Very nice. All right, this comes out in mid-November, and it is the next Stormlight Archive book, Oathbringer, by Brandon Sanderson. Look at the size of that thing. Oh, wonderful. Fantastic. My copy got a little dinged up on its way to me, but I guess with a book this size, that would be almost unavoidable. I will see if maybe I can swap this out for the copy that arrives at the Boston Globe or the Christian Science Monitor. I'll see if somebody can swap me out a copy. Boy, though, this is a lovely thing. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to make you see on camera. First of all, it's got the great Michael Whelan cover. It is Michael Whelan, right? And not. Yes, Michael Whelan. It's got the great Michael Whelan cover on the front and the back. I don't think that I have seen a fantasy novel in the last 30 years that was as simply beautiful as the cover that he did for the first of these. That was just one gigantic storm system spreading across the front and back cover. I have used that picture many times as a computer background because it's so beautiful. But not only do you have that, not only do you have a great cover by him, but you've got the end pages are actual full-color illustrations of characters. Why don't we get 2 different characters on the back? Yes, we do. Look at that. Incredible. Incredible. And not only that, but the inside of the dust jacket is the full-color map of the world. Isn't that amazing? With artistic sigils on either side. That's incredible. Great. That's fantastic. I think if you're going to charge, I mean, this thing's probably, that's $35 for a hardcover. If you're going to charge that, you're going to at least make it pretty. Wonderful. Okay, and this is suffused with spot artwork and everything. Great. Fantastic. I actually very much love this series. It's a pretty pure demonstration that Brandon Sanderson in a different era would have been thoroughly institutionalized. But in the 21st century, thank God, we have him at his word processor turning out great books. So, but the sheer level of manic intensity in this whole story, the life history of every blade of grass is it's a little bit around the bend. In a good way, in the best possible way. So all right, so there we have it. We have Oathbringer, gigantic new Brandon Sanderson book. We have Queen Victoria's Matchmaking, British royal history. We have the first founding father, Richard Henry Lee. The Lees of old Virginia. We have Hunter of Stories by Galeano. We have Island of the Blue Foxes about Peter the Great's massively expensive scientific expedition. And we have a long poem about Jerusalem by a literary great whose work I do not know, whose career I do not know. So there you go. That is a late night mail haul. Well, I'll stop now, and maybe I'll make more videos before the sun comes up. Thank you, BookTube.